Dreambuild Academy, and today we'll be talking about Microsoft project and also Edge tool with our able tutors. The first tutor will be Mercy Corel, and then from 8:15 we'll have the second tutor who will be Wallace Kirago. Will be taking us through the Microsoft no MS Edge tool. Sorry for that. So I welcome you all once again. I hope that we'll have a good learning session. And as we had said in our caption, MS project will be on offer for cohort 3 for those people who will be enrolling. I'll be sharing the relevant links in the chat box. So ensure you follow up, and maybe if you're interested in learning more from today's, you're able to register. So I'll welcome our first tutor, who is Mercy Coril. I'm sure she's well prepared. We are eager to learn about MS Project, especially the students who are here who are also gonna be using it for their projects and all of that. So this is an investment you definitely want to make. So I welcome Mercy Coril. Let's put our hands together for Mercy Coril.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kevin. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I can see a number has joined. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Mercy Korir. I'm a quantity surveyor. So, I'll be at the tutor for MS Project. Yeah, so you're all welcome. So, I just want to know what you guys are expecting. If you can just type in the chat. This is more of an introductory webinar, so more details will be shared throughout the course, and I'm so glad for you to join. Yeah, you can share your expectation on the chat box. I hope you can all see my screen. Are you all able to see my screen? Okay, that is great. Okay, thanks. So today we are going to learn on MS Project. So just as an introductory for the MS Project course. Yeah. So this is just a summary, more of a summary. So more details will be shared during the course. Yeah, so I'm going just to handle the best practices for scheduling as we do it practically. So we all know that when we are when we get a project, let's just assume you're maybe a contractor and you've already said you're going to do the works maybe in 2 years, or the client has told you that we need this work to be completed in 2 years. Yeah. So you need to submit for them how you're going to do the works, how you're going to carry the works. So the time frame, yeah. So usually a Gantt chart. That is what is usually presented to the client. So a MS project is basically a Gantt chart. So I just want to open MS project. So MS project is usually just a representation of the Gantt chart of whatever you want to schedule. So you can schedule your own project, you can schedule maybe your own goals, your own aspirations. But when we think about MS project, what comes to mind is usually the time, like the schedule of works in a construction project. So yeah, so we are going to learn on the principles that you need. Yeah, so the best practice. So first, when you get your project, you need to develop a work breakdown structure. So as we all know that when we are working in a site, or when you're carrying out your activities in a project, We usually begin with some structures. We go to a frame, which can be reinforced concrete, can be steel works, depending on the project. Then you do roofing, and then you can start now doing maybe the plaster works, grid works, windows, doors. Some can be done together, some cannot like be done together. So you have to schedule them one before, one after. So you need to develop that work breakdown structure first. Yeah, and you define the work that you're going to do. If you don't know what you're going to do, you're not going to schedule. For example, if you're told to schedule for maybe a 5-story building, if you don't know what works are to be carried out in that project, it will be very difficult for you to know what works needs to be done. So, knowing what works you're going to do in a project is very critical. And that's why all of us have done building technology, or in one way or another, you're going to do building technology. So, it's really crucial for you to understand the works, uh, which one is beginning, then which works follows. Can you do those works simultaneously? How possible is it? So you need to define all those packages and also the activity. Yeah. So you also need to define the logic. Uh, I will I will explain to you what logic is. So logic is basically, are you like, will this work happen after, before, or it will happen concurrently? So there are usually uh, four types of schedule. So there's usually uh, start to finish, finish to start, finish to finish. Yeah. So finish to start basically, like a succeeding activity cannot begin until a preceding activity has completed. So one has to finish some, like a task, so that they be able to start another one. So you can think you cannot do reinforced concrete frame if you've not completed the substructure works. So that's finish to start. Finish to finish means both works should finish the same time. So whatever times it begins, uh, it it can start anytime, but it must finish all the same time. Start to start is also another logic, that two works start at the same time. They can finish different time, but it can finish different time, but it needs to start the same time. And then we have also a start to finish. Yeah. So those are the logics. So you need to know those logics. Then there's another one. You need to define the resources. Resources basically, you're thinking about labor, you're thinking about maybe machinery. So for that specific work, so it's crucial for you to define the resources you need. Very important, you need to define the durations that you need to carry out. So if it is maybe site clearance for maybe 300 square meter of a building, like, or an area that you're going to construct, how long will it take? I hope you guys, uh, yes. Oh, sorry. Let me just let me just remove, stop sharing. I don't know if you can see my screen now. Okay, sorry for that. Yeah, so as I was saying that, uh, maybe for those who are not following up keenly, so you need to develop a work breakdown structure. You need to break down, like, your for example, the building activities in a structure. You can do it maybe elemental, substructures, RC frame, roof, walling, openings. Yeah, that way. Then you need to define the work packages and the activities. So if you don't understand the project, you can't define anything. You can't define activity. You can't know what package to do. So knowledge, building technology knowledge is crucial. Yeah, you need to define the logic, as I've mentioned. Logic is basically if the activity is finished to start, meaning that the succeeding activity cannot begin until the preceding activity has completed. Finish to finish, meaning two activities should finish the same time. Start to start means that both activities should happen simultaneously, like it should happen together. And then we have start to finish. Yeah, you need to define the resources. So resources basically are the manpower you need for that specific activity, the machinery you need. Yeah, so maybe you're casting your concrete, so you need maybe a concrete mixer, you need a concrete pump, you need someone to vibrate for you the concrete. You need someone also to be directing the concrete pump where to pour the concrete. So those are the resources you need for casting of concrete. So you also need to define the duration. So the duration basically is the time you need to do to complete a specific, section or a building or a task. Yeah. And then most importantly, you need to analyze the schedule if it really meets your desired goal. So these are the best practices that you need for scheduling. Yeah, as I said, you can also do it when you're maybe doing your own project. It's not really confined to a construction project alone. So you're going to do a practical example, just how to put this practice in action. Yes. So once you open your MS project, this is what you will see. So here we have where we have the file. If you're conversant with Microsoft products, you're familiar with most of these things. Yeah, then we have this one for task. So basically it just have like similar, not like far from Excel features. Just from here the schedule bit. Here we have tasks. Here we have insert. Then maybe information, and then scroll. We have also for the bit of resources. Yeah, just as I had mentioned, resources are people, machinery, what you need to complete your project. So here we have on the report, where you can do dashboards, create costs, see the progress. And then here on the project is where you put your project information. This is very important, and I'll explain why this is the first place you should land before even you begin your schedule. Then this is on the view tab. You're able to see uh, like the tab views, the resource views on the data, zoom, on split view, window and macros. And it's just for help. And it's just the Gantt chart formulas. So once you open your project and you want to start to do schedule, the first place you should land is here on the tab of the project. So you need to fill the project information. So this bit of property, so you fill your project information. So let's see our project will begin next week on Monday. So come here on this drop down. So on Monday, so let's say ours is beginning on 20th July. So the current day is 13th July. So there are two ways of filling information, uh, and it goes back to the logic. Do you want to schedule from the project start date, or do you want to schedule from the project finish date? So if you come here and they schedule from this drop down here, so we have project start date and you have project finish date. So you need to define what do you like, what is the basis for your schedule. Do you want to schedule from start, or do you want to schedule it from the finish date? For those who know like how tendering is done, part of the requirement is you need to state the duration that you're going to accomplish to do the project. Maybe 2 years, maybe 16 weeks or 50 weeks. Yeah. So when you receive a letter of award, it clearly states the duration you need to complete the project. And the duration usually begins after you've been handed over the project by the client. So you've gone to site and they have already handed you the site. So the project duration starts from that time. Usually there's 1 week for mobilization, then there's the project duration. So it's critical for you to know, are you scheduling your project from the beginning of the project or from the finish date? So for us, maybe let's just choose. We are going to schedule from the project start date. Very critical. And then here we also have calendar. I'll also explain about this. So calendar, we have it's just we have three default calendars in MS Project. The one that when you open, you just get it. So there's a 24-hour calendar, there's a night shift calendar, and then there's also standard calendar. So standard calendar, uh, we'll be able to see on the when you want to change working time. So let's just assume you're using standard calendar, and then you press OK. So it automatically, yeah, like
Gonna say,
yeah, so it automatically saves that information. So whatever you do on this project, that's the baseline. So choosing your working time is crucial. Choosing your calendar is crucial. There are some projects that work 24 hours. There are some projects, maybe they are in places where they don't want people during the weekends. So they just do Monday to Friday, maybe for security reasons or just policy of the court. There are others which require people to work even past working hours, past the normal working hours. We know, yeah. So it's really important for you to also uh, choose your calendar before even you begin your project. So as you can see here, when you just come here, change working time, the project, change working time, you're able to see here on for calendar, standard project calendar. So standard project calendar, as you can just see on this calendar, working days are marked as white. You can see Monday to Friday, and working days are marked in gray. So you can see here on Saturday and Sunday, and then you have edited working hours. So it's white, and then on this calendar you can add maybe an exception day or default work week. So it will show in this color. Usually working times from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So this is the standard calendar. We have the 24-hour shift, so you can see all the days are working days because basically we're working every day and every time. And then we have night shift. So as you can see, night shift. Saturday is an unworking day, but the working times are from 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. So it's very important for you to just choose the right calendar for you. So let's say maybe today we are just using standard calendar. Okay, you put okay. Now you've already set your project information. Now you come here to tasks. So let's say we are scheduling a residential project. So you can just say proposed residential building. Yeah, so proposed residential building. So that is like the project you're doing. So today we're just going to do substructures. So as I said, you need to define the activities. So substructures. Yeah, so this is the project is substructures. We have activities on substructures. Can have when before we begin substructures, there's something that is usually done in a project. It's called mobilization. So if you just want to add maybe a task, so you come here, you can do this one plus you add another task. You can also right click, then insert a task. So let's say we are doing mobilization. So you can write just by double clicking and editing, write mobilization, or you can as well uh, double click as well, and then you get this task information. So you would put the name, you can put the duration here. It's usually 7 days. Yeah, maybe percentage complete obviously is 0. Then our schedule we should choose auto schedule and put okay. You see I've put okay, so it has automatically picked the start date next week on Monday. There's a challenge when I choose 7 days for mobilization period, because that will mean it will go up to Tuesday the following week, which logically doesn't really make sense. We know our working days is Monday to Friday based on the calendar we chose. So if I put here 5 days, it will be Monday to Friday. Then for subtraction, now it will begin the following Monday. Yeah, so that's why I say that choosing the right calendar is crucial for your scheduling so that you are able to schedule rightly. So on substructures, we have site clearance. So you have excavation, so excavation works. Then can have concrete works. So concrete works. So once you excavate, now you do concrete, then go back, filling. Yes. So you can just leave it that way, just for demonstration purposes and because of our time. As you can see, so these 4 items, four tasks I have listed here fall under substructures. So I really want to um, make that very clear in MS project, so that when someone is able to see the Gantt chart, they see that it's under substructures. So what I do, you can highlight all this and then just move it on the right. Yeah, then it automatically links it to substructures. But this substructures and mobilization is under this broad title for our project. So I just take these two and then I also move it to the right. So the duration here I get is for all this. Can see these are the summaries, then the tasks. So site clearance, let's just assume I'm going to just take 1 day. 1 day. Excavation works. Let's just say I'm going just to take say 3 days. For concrete works, because I need also it for it to cure, I have to do formwork, reinforcement. The concrete has to cure. So I can say maybe it's going to take me, let's see, around 30 days. Yeah. And then backfilling, backfilling it will take me 1 day. So as you can see, I've already put the duration. So as I said, you need to define the logic. So site clearance follows mobilization. So here on this uh, column for predecessor, you write the logic. For this case, I can say I want it to follow 2. So when I put it 2, it automatically uh, like shows that mobilization has to finish for site clearance to happen. And that's why you see here on the right an arrow. Yeah, you just see here an arrow on the Gantt chart. So if you just want to zoom, you can zoom like that. Yeah, so you're able to see. So excavation follows site clearance as well. So as you can see, there are the number of rows column. Yeah, so here so you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you see I've put 2, so 2 is under mobilization. So for excavation works to happen, site clearance needs to be done. So it follows 4. And then concrete follows the excavation works, which is 5. For backfilling happens after the ground floor slab has been, like backfilling happens before casting of the ground floor slab, which in my case is under concrete works. So I can't say that it is following concrete works. It's between, like it's in between the concrete works. So there's something called, you can push like the works like to come before. So I can add some lag days. So here I put so 6. I can say SF means start to finish. Then I add some days, maybe let's say 20 days. Yeah, because backfilling is like in between the works of concrete works. You can see on your right we have like a very bright blue. Then here we have a bit green color in the tasks. This shows that this one is automatically scheduled, this one is manually scheduled. So for us to change that, we just need to highlight like the whole activities, and then you just come here on task, and then you come here on task, you put auto schedule, and now you're able to see your project. So because we already linked up the mobilization notes and substructure, you're able to see the duration you're going to take, when you're going to start, when you're going to finish. So we need to add resources on these activities. So we can say on-site clearance, you only need maybe unskilled laborers. So unskilled laborers. Maybe on excavation, you need an excavator. Yes, we need an excavator. We need also truck to carry our soil, maybe rocks. Then on the concrete works, the resource we need is a concrete mixer, and then we can also have concrete pump, concrete pump. Yeah, backfilling. You also need unskilled labor. You can just copy paste here. Yeah, so if you come here on your Gantt chart, that is on the right, you're able to see the resources that you need for that specific item here on the right. So we have the unskilled labor here, we have excavator and a truck, we have a concrete mixer, then we have skilled laborers. Yeah, so once you're done, maybe just putting the activities, everything, we've seen the logic that it is okay, mobilization, followed site clearance, excavation works, concrete backfilling. So I've just done very just like a summary for us just to understand. Yeah, but our projects have different complexity, so we might have even so many items below here. So once you want, now you've gotten your schedule, your Gantt chart. Now you want it to to maybe to publish it, to print it so that you can share maybe to the client to have a look at your project. So you just come, you press Control P, that is to print. As you can see, giving me this print preview, giving me one of two, but now you don't want it to be 2 pages. See, page one, page two. So there are two ways to go about it. One, you can come here at page setup. You can come here, fit to 1 page wide by 1 page tall. It automatically adjusts to 1 page. If you have so many items, the items can look so small and they are not visible. So sometimes it will like be advisable to do only 1 page. So that's one option of doing it. So you can go back, we just see if so yeah, it has picked fitting on 1 page. Another way would be to adjust it to a percentage. See if here I come adjust it to 100, it will return for me the 2 pages, the page one, the page two. So another way would just come, maybe you just adjust and just say maybe 75%. 75 has not worked. We choose lower. So 70. See, I've like zoomed it. I've changed, like I've adjusted it to 55% that it has fitted in 1 page. As you can see, this doesn't look appealing. So we'll go with the first option of fitting. Seems to be more visible. Once you're done, now you just come here. So print, you choose here, print to PDF, then you print. Then you save it. Maybe I just wanted to save it on my desktop. Call it maybe residential project work program. Save. Yeah, and then now I have my my work program in PDF. So if I open, I am able to see. Yeah, so that's just in simple terms what you can do in MS Project. Yeah, so I've told you the principles to ensure that you you do your project scheduling well, develop a work breakdown structure, define your work packages, define activities, make sure you know the logic. You've implemented a logic on this last one for backfilling. You see, I've said 6SF, that is start finish, and then I've added like another 20 days so that backfilling like is on the right place. Because backfilling is in between the concrete work. Uh, as you all know, concrete works begins from bases, we have straight footing, we have foundation columns, and then we have the ground floor slab. So backfilling is after you've casted your columns. Yeah, yeah. So and it's also good to know that I've not put here foundation walling just to reinforce the last part that I said you need to analyze your project. So if you analyze our schedule, we find that the foundation wall is missing, and we know we need it. We can't do it without. So that's why you need to analyze your project even before you submit. So now you come add a task. So foundation rolling is obviously before backfilling. Now we do foundation walling. Then you put okay. So maybe we are going to take out these 7 days foundation walling. So foundation walling as well is in between the concrete work. So can say 6SF, and we just add 10 days. As you can see on our right, we have the green color, no activity. Now we just highlight, put out a schedule. Yeah, I can decide this backfilling to link it up with 7, item 7, which is walling, and then I reduce the number of days. Yeah, just after 7. Let's just say it follows 7, because once walling is done, yeah, you're able to see that. Yeah. So that's in a nutshell how you're going to do your project. So I hope you've learned something. Yeah, and you're able now to enroll for the course to learn more. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys for joining. I had shared that you just share your expectation. I'm just going the chat and I'm not seeing any questions, but it's okay. So if you have any question, any inquiry, feel free to ask. Yeah, so thank you so much. Back to you, Kevin.
I don't know, but thank you very much. Maybe I would wish you also tell us what's the main difference between MS Project and also Primavera P6? Because I also say that Primavera P6 is also for scheduling and all of this. Yes, I think you're on mute.
Oh, sorry about that. So basically, Microsoft project are usually for small to medium projects. They are really not for massive projects. But if you're doing a very massive project, so Therapy 6 is usually good. So it handles very complex projects. Think about infrastructure, that has so many activities. So Primavera P6 is good for that. So MS Project is for small to medium maybe projects. But for massive projects, Primavera P6 will work. So it's good to know uh, your project. Yeah, that's why I shared on the best practices for scheduling. Now, if you already have defined the activities and the work package, to give you an idea on which tool is best for your scheduling. So both are very crucial. They serve they seem to serve the same purpose, but it is serving different needs. That's why learning both of them is important if you're thinking about growth or just being able to uh, schedule your projects, whatever size it comes. Yeah. Thanks. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, you have, and I also believe you've also answered a question to so many people been wondering what's the main difference for that. I welcome any questions in regards to MS projects or GBA, and we'll have them tackled. Any question, you can raise your hand. Okay, I'll take the silence as there is no question. But in case of anything, you can always reach. I say Mr. Moneki has raised his hand. Yes, Mr. Moneki. Please unmute. Okay, I guess that was accidental. But in case of the query, oh, please go ahead, Mr. Moneki.
Okay, I think that my question was about the preliminaries. When coming up with the substructure work, do we start with the preliminaries or the mobilization? Thank you.
Mobilization covers preliminaries,
Uh-huh.
be constructing a site house, coding. There are some other preliminaries that are like occur through the project, like security, lighting, water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for the one that uh, are carried out during the like at the beginning of the project, that is covered under mobilization.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Some
nice.
can even have maybe 2 weeks mobilization, 1 week. So that depends on the project, how complex or how small the project is. So that can differ.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kismasi, for answering Mr. Moneki. Okay, I see the questions are now coming up. Yes, Mr. Musambai.
Hey, hi. Hello.
Yes, please proceed. We can hear you.
Okay, my question was, what's the essence of the resources? Does it have any need?
Uh, yes, resources are crucial for planning. Picture yourself as a contractor or maybe even a client. Like just say you're a contractor and you need to carry out some works. You you need to think on what you need to carry out the works. That influence even the resource. For example, if you're doing excavation through human labor, you can't take 1 day to achieve that unless you're having maybe even 100 people, 50 people, depending on your project. So that's why understanding the resources you need is crucial, and that should be included in the planning. Because if you don't even know what you need or what resources you need in carrying out that project, how will you be able to approximate the days you need? So the resources you need for that item is important in planning. I know some people don't really put resources in that aspect, but on the logic bit of them, like deciding how many days maybe excavation would take. They've already thought in mind, I would need maybe 10 excavation and I'll be able to achieve in one day. Or I take five excavators and I'll achieve it in 2 days. You see, so understanding resources is crucial. You can't put it out while you're planning. It's also linked to the timing.
Okay, do I have to number it? Like five unskilled or five excavators?
Yeah, if you
Do I
number
have
it,
like
it's
just
better.
name them?
Yeah.
Or you can
If
number
you
it?
if you put a number, it's actually even more better because now you're very clear on the resources you need. I just did just for us to understand because we wouldn't have like achieved uh, to learn as much as possible in a short time. As you can see, it's like 40 minutes. That's really a short time for us to learn, and that's why you really need to enroll for the course. Kevin has shared the course link, so make sure you enroll so that you learn more and your questions will be able to be answered, and you'll see how practical uh, like a practical approach on how you can schedule your project. Someone has asked what's the difference between a master program and a weekly program, and when does one use either the master or the weekly one? Uh, there's one principle I said on the activities, defining the activities. So once maybe you have a weekly program, you can like you can remember that once you have maybe the weekly program, you're able to like add it up. You have a monthly program, you now have the whole program of the work. So it is important for you to work on both. Master program shows the whole project, it's 2 years. Weekly program keeps you in check to ensure that you're able to achieve the 2 year program. So if for example you were to do screening this week and you fail to do screening, maybe the activity for next week would be affected. Now the question you would ask yourself, how are you going to recover this week? So the weekly program and the master program are all crucial because the master program gets its schedule from the weekly program. You know, that's why there's something called work breakdown structure. Like, yeah. So if you think like maybe a tree diagram or something, the small things, when it's put together, it becomes one big thing. So if you think in that angle, so they are all crucial. You all work hand in hand. Weekly program, once you fulfill your week program, it means you can fulfill the master program. If you fail to fulfill your weekly program, now you fail also to fulfill your master program. And we all know that if you don't complete your project in time, there's a cost for liquidated damages. So it's crucial to just ensure you keep on check your project so that you deliver it in good time. Yeah, so Kevin, someone is asking if you can resend the course link. Please kindly share to them. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question. So if you have any other query, I think it's good you enroll for the course and all your questions are going to be answered. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Can someone confirm that I'm audible? Thank you. So let me just share my screen so that we get to it. This won't take long, just some few minutes. And hope my screen is visible to everyone. Okay, thank you, Captain. So just take you through the sustainability aspect of construction and green building and the edge tool, which is a big thing in the green built environment. So to start with, I'd just like to ask you a question, uh, just to jog your mind. And I want you to think about the last building that you entered into and think about the resources that it consumes on a daily basis. That is the on energy, water, and so forth. So according to the global data by United Nations Environmental Program, uh, that 4% of the global energy production is consumed by buildings, and that is a very significant amount. And also that 7% of the carbon emissions come from the building sector, which I believe most of us here are part of, whether you're a student or a professional already in the industry. And also, 9.8 billion tons of carbon production is from buildings. That is according to the data in 2023, which is a very significant amount. Because if you think about it, it shows how much carbon our buildings generate from the materials we use for construction and from the other factors that are contained in the buildings. And also, this is just by 2023. So I want you to imagine about the next like 50 years to come, how much carbon we have in our environment if we don't move into other we don't change our ways of building. So uh, to go about it, uh, for Kenya specifically, sorry for that, 39% of the, sorry, just a minute to get back to you. I'm having issues with my screen. Can someone confirm if the screen is visible currently? So, our country, Kenya, 39% of the carbon emissions are from the construction sector, with 28% of that being from the building operations, that is the daily operations of a building, and 11% from the materials used for the construction of the buildings. And also, Kenya in East Africa, as we know, is one of the countries with the a high electricity cost. Significant. I think we are currently the highest cost of electricity bills, and also in Kenya, sometimes some parts of Kenya experience water shortages, as you know, due to the changing climatic conditions and the conditions in the arid areas. So some buildings, and also in Nairobi, there are some buildings that experience water shortage, as especially around the areas of, I think, Eastlands. And also for us, the NCA, I think in partnership with the AAK, are developing a green building standard, which was supposed to be rolling out from 2025. I don't know if it is complete, and someone can confirm for us if they have the knowledge. But last I checked, it was not yet complete. And now let's get to the bit where I think this gets interesting for all of us. I think everyone has ever heard of a green building, the issue of sustainability, and so forth, and so on. And for those who might not have the idea what a green building is, it's a building designed and operated to minimize the negative impact on the environment. And this is through the efficient use of energy, water, and materials, while also maintaining the health, comfort, and productivity of the people inside. So this is not just about the building, but also for the people inside it, for the comfort of you as a person working in the building, the visitors that you may receive, and so forth. So, and also sustainability. I think most of us have a rough idea of sustainability, which in basic terms is the practice of designing, because here we are talking about buildings, is the fact of is the art or the practice of designing buildings to meet the current needs without compromising the needs of the future. So this just gets to show you how important the choices we make as we are designing and building affect not just us but also the future. And why is green building important to us? First of all, you can see that green building is not just a design philosophy, just a technology that you rely on after you design. It is a decision that you make during the design stages of a building, because it is that important. And the measurability aspect of it here shows that it's not just imagination or a claim, but you need to have a certification that proves that actually this building can operate it can be considered in the green environment, and so forth, and so on. And also, the aspect of green building should cover the full life cycle of a building. That is the design phase, the operational, and the future, which also includes demolition. The financial aspect of it is that green buildings lower the utility cost and position you at a better position when asking for finance. So, about Edge, for this introductory webinar, I want to get to show you how Edge operates, because it's quite a system, and when shared on screen, it takes some time to load. So I'll just explain to you how it works. But for those who might be interested in the course, maybe we'll get to know that in class, because I think in class we'll have a lot of time. So I'll be able to show you how Edge operates, the different interfaces, the different types of project that it covers, because Edge covers a lot of projects, like all the projects type, the project types you can think of are covered in Edge. That includes the homes, hotels, the resorts, event service apartments, healthcare facilities, and so much. Edge is such a wonderful software to have, or software to have knowledge in. And so, what is Edge? Basically, Edge in layman language is just excellence in design for greater efficiencies. And it was developed by International Finance Corporation, which is a member of World Bank. And this was designed basically for African projects. Because for those who might have an idea, in the green environment, we have other certification bodies or software such as the LEED, which is based in US. We also have the BREEAM for UK and European nations. So IFC looked at something and decided, why don't we have uh, a baseline for projects in Africa, or also the sub-Saharan nations. So the difference between the three softwares is basically Edge is cheaper and free. The other certification processes, such as the lead and BREEAM, are quite expensive and are not specifically tailored for projects in the parts of the continent, uh, such such as our nation. But for Edge, basically is coded or modified to fit projects around local projects, with each country having a baseline for the the the, the minimal baseline for a typical project. So Edge has a. Are my slides moving? Somebody to confirm. Okay. So Edge has a standard of 20%, which is basically 20% on energy savings, water savings, and material savings. And somebody might ask, why 20%? I believe if today, those who have a salary, you are told you'll be able to save 20% of that on your expenses, and be very happy. So 20% is practically, the reason why they chose 20% is because it is a very achievable minimum. So just imagine if you could save 20% on your energy bills or water bills, or the 20%, you could reduce the emission from the building by 20%. That is quite significant, isn't it? So Edge basically has three certification tiers, which are Edge certified. This is the basic minimum, which ensures that a building reaches the 20% threshold on savings on energy, water, and carbon emissions from materials. And this 20% is quite achievable. How you achieve this 20% is that you basically have a baseline project. The typical project is already inserted in the software, and it meets the local requirements. A typical project, maybe in Kiambu, that is like the basic one you use to insert the savings that you might want on your buildings. which for energy might include efficient air conditioning. You can have the fans. You can have some roof insulation, maybe external shading. So when you achieve the 20%, that is the basic EDGE certification, which your building will be certified upon. Then you have EDGE Advanced, which to a greater extent improves the building savings by 40%, over 40% and more on energy savings, water and materials. And for an EDGE Advanced certified building, there is automatic recognition, and the building can also be recognized as ready for zero carbon, which means that basically the building is not emitting any carbon into the environment. Then we have the EDGE Zero Carbon, which is the highest level of certification in EDGE, which means that the building relies 100% on renewable energy, and that means you don't have the externalities, carbon issues, and so forth and so on. And for a zero carbon building, the certification has to be renewed after every 2 to 4 years, because the body has to come and check that you're actually meeting the required levels, because you cannot just say your building is not emitting any carbon to the environment. You have to prove it, and that is where the certification comes in. So someone might ask, what will I benefit with if I enroll for the EDGE course? For the student and for the professional. This is basically for both of you. It is not tied for just like professionals. Even as a student, this thing is important to you, because you enter the industry already differentiated from the fellas that you might meet there, and also the greens are in large demand. For example, in the finance sector, I know of a guy who works, he's a construction manager, but works for the bank. And he sometime back told us of how the banks currently are financing the green buildings. And we have something like the green mortgages, if anyone has ever heard of. And a benefit for the professional, you might apply your experience in the fastest growing market segment, because already you have the relevant skills required in the market. And this is just an addition, and nobody hates a promotion. And also, maybe for contractors, there are tenders which require the green experts. And with EDGE, you're already a green expert certified professional, because you will understand the basics of sustainability, green building, what to do in such buildings, how do you reduce your energy consumption, so forth, so on. So for the course, for those wishing to enroll, the course will take approximately 6 weeks, with 2 sessions per week, with the sessions divided into modules. Because it covers a lot, I might not be able to show you what is covered here, but I'll just give a brief explanation. For week 1, for the first session, we'll have the foundations in EDGE, which will introduce you to the green building concept, the EDGE standard, and you might get to, I'll show you how to navigate the app, because EDGE is a web app. That is the reason why, one of the reasons why I cannot share it here, because it takes time to load. For those who have ever used it, no. And for those who might be new, don't worry, we'll get there. For week 2, that is when we'll get into the bit of it, with energy efficiency measures. And for EDGE energy covers quite a bit, a bigger part of the course. So for energy, we'll have 3 sessions. That is 3 modules, 3 sessions. 2 for the second week and 1 will follow on the third week, because we have to cover the passive energy measures, which include the window to wall ratios, the roof insulation, wall insulation, and there are some calculations which we have to get around the external shading. And then for the second one, for the second class on energy, we'll cover, I think, active energy measures, which are basically the lighting controls, the skylights, the solar photovoltaic. So for then on the third week, that is session 1 of the third week, we'll have the energy strategy measures, which where we get to understand how we reach the 20% threshold and review the energy savings dashboard. So after that, we'll have a first project that which will be basically an assignment on how you get to understand how the energy module works on Edge. So we'll have a short exercise on that. Then we'll do a presentation maybe in class, where you'll also get to compare the combination of the energy efficient measures and their cumulative impact on the building and the environment. Then for the third week, the second class, you'll get to introduce the water efficiency measures. Water is quite short, and that is and quite interesting. And then for the fourth week, you get to understand the embodied energy in materials, where we'll basically have to get to know about the bottom floor construction, the floor finish, the roof construction, the materials which we might use to reduce the emissions, because the carbon emissions are covered mostly by the materials. Then for week 5, you get to understand the documentation and the evidence and the EDGE certification journey, where basically we'll show you how to generate a report, because EDGE generates a report. After you finish your project, it generates a report which you have to present and understand, so that maybe you can explain to the not designers, the developers, because I believe some of you might be working with developers in future or currently. And then we'll have a business case for sustainability, which will basically be our final presentation, where we'll have a project which covers the 3 modules on energy, water, and materials, where the learners will get to have a complete project. And then we'll have our presentations in our class. Then the grading will be given later. So basically, this is what will be covered. You have to navigate the Edge app confidently, apply energy, water, and efficiency, generate and interpret cost-benefit analysis. Cost-benefit analysis basically is like a report which shows the benefits of having a project in comparison to the cost. Because sometimes you might think the cost is very high, but when you look at the benefit, it justifies the cost. And that happens for basically and mostly with government projects. When the benefit outweighs the cost, your project is justified. Then we'll also compile a design stage documentation package, which meets the EDGE certification requirements, and also make a compelling business case for green building to clients and developers. Also, this course provides you with a clear pathway to formal EDGE expert credentials, because after you do this course, EDGE also offers the EDGE expert course, which It gives you an exam on the edge concept after some training. So with this understanding of edge, it will be easier for you to navigate the expert levels of the edge credentials. So I think that is the end of the presentation. For anyone with a question, you can post it on the chat. Yes. Back to you, Captain.
Yeah, I just remind us that at GBA, all our courses are live interactions. That is, we conduct our sessions on Google Meet, where you interact with the tutor, you get to ask questions, and you also get to interact with your fellow students. We don't do the pre-recorded that you are told that follow this, watch this, blah blah blah. We don't do that. We just allow you to interact with the tutor during the sessions, and at times if you feel like something was off or maybe you didn't understand, you can always schedule a private session with the tutor and they get to explain to you the concept you may have missed. So that's why we encourage you all to enroll for our courses. And some courses right now, they're already ongoing. So that will mean that you'll have to enroll for cohort 4. But for Edge Tool and MS Project, as we've said, the enrollment is currently going on. So be sure to register and enroll with us. We also have our partners. I don't know if there's a representative from CSA. Yeah, I guess I can see the president. Yeah, I wish to acknowledge our partners and let's hear what they have to say. Yes, Madam President. Actually, I guess I have seen the wrong image. It's not her. Any representative from CSA or ICAS? Okay, I assume they may have dropped off, but you see them out there. We have some sort of arrangement. You can always reach out and confirm what they have for us. Are we paying for the courses? Yes, all our courses are 4,000 Kenyan shillings, apart from MS Project, which will be offering at only just 3K Kenyan shillings. So enroll at the website. The website has all those details, and in case of any queries, always reach out to the management, and you'll get help about GBA. Uh, any question?
Yes, Captain. Somebody has asked me privately about the calculation in Edge. I think they have interacted with the app before. So for the calculations on Edge, don't worry about it. The Edge has an automatic calculator which will show you the additional cost compared on additional cost which arises from the measures in of green building, and also it has the report. Basically the report that you generate has all the calculations and also shows you the benefits and the payback period in years and the finances required. It basically calculates all that for you. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. And any representative or rather any reader from GBA? I assume they also dropped off, so I just request Kiesmasi Koril to just do us a vote of thanks as our newest tutor. And that will be the end of our tonight's session. See you in class for those who will enroll. Thank you and have a lovely night.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin, for organizing and doing a good job. Yeah, so I want to appreciate each and every one of us who has joined. Yeah, so you've heard from the two speakers. So if you need to enroll in those courses, please kindly do. It helps you in advancing your skills and also preparing yourself for your next role. You never know when you're going to use it in case you're not in a position to use them. So upskill, upskill, upskill. That's what I would always advocate. Yeah. Be ready. The way Paul will always tell Timothy, be ready in season and out of season. And that's the message I want to pass across to all of us. Yeah, so thanks for joining. Please enroll. The amount is so little, 3,000 shillings for our whole courses. For me, that's